In this lecture, we are going to talk about two-dimensional arrays. So we are able to create a two-dimensional array with the help of two brackets like this. And we are going to create two-dimensional array of integers with 3 rows and 4 columns. So what does it mean exactly? Because arrays are initialized with zeros, that's why at the beginning there's going to be something like this, with 3 rows and 4 columns, and all the values are zeros. So we would like to initialize the values, so I less than 3, I plus plus, and we have j is equals to 0, j less than 4, j plus plus, and we are going to set the nums I and j to be equals to I plus j. And then we are going to, sorry for that, it is an integer as well. And then we are going to print out the values accordingly. So here we system out println nums I and j plus some spacing. And sorry for that, now we have to use something like this because we have multiple operations. So we use here like this, and after the for loop we would like to use a new line character. So if we run the application, this is the result. As you can see, the matrix has 4 columns and 3 rows. So what if we would like to manipulate this item? We have to define the row index, it is 0, 1, 2, and we have to define the column index 0, 1, 2. So what does it mean exactly? That we can update 2 and 2. We update the value with the integer 8. So if we save and run the application, as you can see, we are able to update two-dimensional arrays based on indices. And this is why we like array data structure, because we can access the items with the help of indices. This is called random access. It is extremely powerful because it has ordo 1, so constant running time complexity. I'm not sure whether you are interested in algorithms or running time analysis, but random access is an extremely powerful feature of arrays because it is extremely fast. So this is how we can initialize a two-dimensional array. This is how we can update the value of a two-dimensional array. We are able to initialize a two-dimensional array with the following method. So we can define 1, 2, 3. This is going to be the first row. Then we can define the second row, for example, 4, 5, and 6. And then we can define the last row, 7, 8, and 9. And if we initialize the values of the number two-dimensional array, then I'm going to get rid of this. And we just have to print out the values. I don't want to update any values, so if we save and run it, of course there's going to be an array index out of bound exception, because as you can see, we would like to access an item that's outside the scope of the array, because it is a 3 times 3 matrix or two-dimensional array. Of course, we are not able to access the 4th index. So let's try something like this. And as you can see, it is working fine. So we are able to initialize a two-dimensional array like this. We can specify the items. And what's crucial, that we are able to create a so-called irregular two-dimensional array as well, which means that the two-dimensional array is missing some values, as you can see. So if we use something like this, we can define 3 here. Then in the next row, there's going to be just 2 items and then 3 items again. So here we can use the for each loop. So we get a one-dimensional array of n, for example. And then we iterate through on an integer by integer basis, and it's going to be the k value. It is an array, and it's going to be the num. We iterate through the array itself, and then we print out the number with some spacing, and we use a new line character. So if we print out this matrix, as you can see, there are the values missing. So it is a so-called jagged or irregular matrix. If we want to access the item here, for example, where there's no value, of course we will get an index out of bound exception. So if we use something like this, that row index 1, so the second row, and column index 2, which means that the third item, then I guess we get a index array out of bound exception. Yeah, because it is an irregular matrix or an irregular two-dimensional array, so we have to make sure that we access valid items. So this is how we use two-dimensional arrays. This is how we can initialize the values. This is how we can iterate through the values on a one-by-one basis. Thanks for watching.